When I was 12, my sister Rebecca broke my science fair project the night before judging. When I was 16, she borrowed my college application essay and submitted it before I could. Now at 28, she'd just stolen my revolutionary medical device design and presented it as her own at our family dinner. Some patterns never change. My name is Dr. Sarah Chen, and this is the story of how I learned that sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one you should fear most. The Chen family dinner was a monthly tradition, one where my parents celebrated their children's achievements. Rebecca, being Rebecca, always had something impressive to share. Tonight was supposed to be different. Tonight was supposed to be my moment. Before we start, Rebecca announced, standing up with the perfect timing she'd always possessed, I have something exciting to share. I froze, my hand tightening around my portfolio. I'd made the mistake of leaving my laptop open in the guest room earlier while helping Mom in the kitchen. Rebecca had disappeared for almost 20 minutes during that time. I've been working on a revolutionary medical device, she continued, pulling out printouts that looked suspiciously familiar. A portable diagnostic tool that can detect early-stage cancer markers through a simple blood test. My blood ran cold. Those were my designs. My research. My life's work for the past 3 years. It uses quantum dot technology and AI-driven analysis, Rebecca explained, using words I'd written in my proposal. Early tests show 95% accuracy, and it could make cancer screening accessible in remote areas. Dad leaned forward, intrigued. He'd built his fortune in medical technology investments, which was exactly why I'd planned to present my project tonight. The potential market is enormous, Rebecca continued, flashing her MBA-polished smile. I've already lined up potential manufacturers. That's my project, I said quietly, but Mom was already tearing up with pride and Dad was reaching for his checkbook. Now Sarah, Rebecca sighed with practiced patience. Don't be jealous just because I actually executed an idea. We both know you're better in the lab than in business. That was Rebecca's favorite tactic. Dismiss me as the awkward researcher who couldn't function in the real world. She'd been doing it since we were kids, positioning herself as the practical, successful sister while I was the dreamer who never finished anything. Rebecca has always had such amazing business instincts, Mom beamed. Remember how she turned her lemonade stand into a neighborhood franchise? Yes, I remembered. It was my recipe, my idea to add lavender. But Rebecca had always been better at taking credit. The prototype will cost about $300,000 to develop, Rebecca continued. I have the business plan all worked out. I watched in silent fury as Dad wrote the check. The same amount I'd been planning to ask for, but I would have shown him actual proof of concept, not just stolen drawings. Oh, don't look so glum, little sister, Rebecca smirked. You can always work for me once we're up and running. I'll need good lab technicians. That's when I should have exposed her. Should have pulled out my own portfolio, shown them the original designs, the documentation, the proof that this was all mine. Dad, I smiled. Congratulations, Rebecca. I hope everything works out exactly as it deserves to. Dad frowned slightly at my tone, but Rebecca was too busy outlining her plans to notice. Plans that would fall apart spectacularly in about 12 hours when the patent office opened. You see, Rebecca had always been good at stealing ideas, but she'd never been good at understanding them. She didn't know that I'd already filed a provisional patent 3 months ago. Didn't know that I'd been working with a major medical technology company on development. Didn't know that tomorrow morning she would learn a very expensive lesson about intellectual property law. We should celebrate, Mom declared. I'll get the champagne. Actually, I said, standing up, I should go. Early morning tomorrow. Oh, Sarah, Rebecca sighed. This is why you never get ahead. No sense of occasion, no ability to network. You can't succeed in business hiding in your lab all the time. If she only knew that my lab was actually the research and development facility of Chen Medical Technologies. My company, started with my own savings and funded by investors who weren't my father. The same company that was about to acquire a very interesting patent. You're right, Rebecca, I said softly. I guess I'm just not as business savvy as you. Dad insisted on walking me to my car. You seem upset, sweetheart. I know it's hard seeing your sister succeed so dramatically, but... Dad, I interrupted, have you ever actually asked what I do for a living? He blinked, caught off guard. You're a researcher. At that medical lab. Did you ever wonder why I never asked you for money? Never needed your connections? Never complained about my salary? I assumed you were doing well enough. Being responsible with your money. I opened my car door then paused. You should really look into Rebecca's new company before that check clears. Just a suggestion. Back in my apartment, I opened my laptop and sent a series of pre-prepared emails. One to my patent attorney, one to my company's board of directors, and one to the technology journalist who'd been wanting to profile Chen Medical Technology's mysterious founder. Then I called David, my head of R&D. Is everything ready for tomorrow's demonstration? All set, he confirmed. The big medical technology conference is going to love it. But Sarah, are you sure you want to go public as the founder now? You've been so careful about keeping your identity hidden. I thought about Rebecca's smirk, Dad's checkbook, Mom's tears of pride. Yes, I'm sure. It's time everyone knew exactly who they're dealing with. Does this have anything to do with your sister announcing a suspiciously similar project on her social media tonight? I smiled, looking at Rebecca's triumphant LinkedIn post about her revolutionary innovation. Let's just say tomorrow is going to be interesting. Make sure the live stream of the conference presentation is working. I want everyone to be able to watch. After hanging up, I pulled out my original notebook, the one where I'd first sketched the design for the portable diagnostic tool. 3 years of work, countless nights in the lab, millions in private funding, all leading to tomorrow's launch. Rebecca had stolen my science fair project, my essay, and now she thought she'd stolen my life's work. But she'd never understood the most important lesson about success. It's not about taking credit, it's about creating value. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Rebecca's just been interviewed by the local business journal. They're calling her a visionary entrepreneur. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my presentation for tomorrow's conference. The one where I would reveal not just the working prototype of my diagnostic tool, but also my identity as the founder and CEO of Chen Medical Technologies. Sometimes the best revenge isn't stopping someone from stealing your spotlight. It's letting them stand in it just long enough for everyone to see their true colors. As I got ready for bed, I thought about tomorrow. About Rebecca's face when she realized what was coming. About Dad finally understanding why I'd never needed his money. About Mom learning that her quiet daughter had built something bigger than a lemonade stand franchise. The last thing I did before sleep was check my company's stock portfolio. Chen Medical Technologies was valued at $1.2 billion, though only a handful of people knew I was the founder and majority shareholder. By this time tomorrow everyone would know. Including my sister, who thought $300,000 was a lot of money for a medical device startup. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. The patent office opened at 8, the technology conference started at 10, and somewhere in between Rebecca would learn that some dreams aren't just dreams. Some of us do more than talk about our ideas. Some of us change the world while others are busy taking credit for it. The next morning dawned bright and clear. I arrived at the convention center at 7:30 a.m., just as my phone started buzzing with notifications. Rebecca had been busy. She'd already given 2 morning show interviews about her breakthrough innovation. Dr. Chen, David greeted me at the entrance, tablet in hand. Everything's ready for the presentation. And, you might want to see this. He showed me a local news clip. Rebecca standing in front of our parents' house, describing her invention with the confident authority of someone who had no idea what quantum dot technology actually was. The best part, David said with a barely suppressed smile, is that she just filed for a patent. About 20 minutes ago. I checked my watch. 7:45 a.m. The patent office would be opening soon. Has she heard back yet? Not yet. But her social media is full of announcements about being a pioneer in medical technology. Your father's already calling his investment contacts. I nodded, unsurprised. Dad had always been quick to support Rebecca's ventures. Is the live stream set up? Yes. And? He hesitated. Your parents just requested front row seats. Your sister's with them. Perfect. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. At 8 a.m. sharp my phone rang. It was my patent attorney. It's done, she said simply. The competing application has been flagged for investigation. They should be receiving notification any moment now. I thanked her and waited. My phone exploded with texts and calls from Rebecca. I silenced it without reading them. She'd learn the full truth soon enough. The convention center's main hall was packed by 9:30 a.m. The annual Medical Innovation Conference was the biggest event in the industry, and today's keynote presentation had been hyped for weeks. Nobody knew exactly what Chen Medical Technologies would be revealing, but the rumors had driven our stock up 15% already. I spotted my family in the front row, Dad looking important in his business suit, Mom practically vibrating with excitement, and Rebecca looked pale. She was staring at her phone, probably reading the patent office's rejection notice. At precisely 10 a.m. the conference chairman took the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, for years we've wondered about the mysterious founder of Chen Medical Technologies. Today we finally meet the visionary behind the company that's revolutionizing medical diagnostics. Please welcome Dr. Sarah Chen. The silence in the room was deafening as I walked onto the stage. In the front row, Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad sat up straight, his eyes wide with shock. And Rebecca looked like she'd seen a ghost. Good morning, I began, my voice steady. 3 years ago, I had a dream of making advanced medical diagnostics accessible to everyone everywhere. Today, I'm going to show you how we're making that dream a reality. The next hour was a blur of technical demonstrations, clinical trial results, and live testing of the diagnostic tool. I explained the quantum dot technology that Rebecca had so confidently claimed to understand, demonstrated the AI analysis that she couldn't possibly replicate, and showed video testimonials from doctors who'd been part of our beta testing. This isn't just a prototype, I concluded. We're already in production. The first units shipped to hospitals next month. The applause was thunderous. In the front row, Dad sat completely still, his hand crushed in Mom's grip. Rebecca had disappeared. After the presentation, during the standing ovation, David handed me a note. Your sister is waiting in your office backstage. Security wanted to remove her, but I thought you might want to handle this personally. I found Rebecca pacing my conference room, her perfect hair now disheveled, her confident smile replaced by barely controlled panic. How could you do this to me? She demanded the moment I walked in. Do you know how humiliating that was? Humiliating, I repeated softly. Like having your science fair project broken? Your essay stolen? Your life's work presented as someone else's over family dinner. That was different. You needed Dad's money. His connections. His approval. The same things you've been taking from me our whole lives. She collapsed into a chair. The patent office. They said there's an investigation. Criminal charges for intellectual property theft. Yes, I confirmed. Turns out copying slides from someone's laptop has consequences when the technology is worth billions. Billions, she whispered. I pulled up Chen Medical Technologies' stock ticker on the wall screen. The price had jumped 40% since my presentation. I'm the majority shareholder, I explained. Have been since I founded the company 3 years ago. That $300,000 check Dad wrote you? I spend more than that on office supplies each month. The door opened and our parents walked in. Dad looked older somehow, his usual confidence replaced by uncertainty. Sarah, he began, I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? I asked simply. When have you ever believed in anything I did unless Rebecca validated it first? Mom was crying, but for once they weren't tears of pride for Rebecca. The patent investigation. Dad started. Can go away, I finished. If Rebecca publicly admits what she did and returns the check. You'd do that? Rebecca asked. After everything? You're still my sister. But this is the last time I clean up your messes. Next time you try to steal someone's work, it might be someone less forgiving. The next few hours were a whirlwind of media interviews, investor meetings, and congratulations. Chen Medical Technologies stock closed up 75%, making me a billionaire several times over on paper. Rebecca held a brief press conference, admitting she had misunderstood the origin of the technology. Dad stopped payment on the check. Mom alternated between apologizing to me and berating Rebecca. That evening, as the excitement died down, Dad came to my office. I owe you an apology, he said quietly. Many apologies, actually. For what specifically? I asked, genuinely curious. For not seeing you. For assuming Rebecca's way was the only way to succeed. For He gestured at the modern office, the wall of patents, the stock ticker still glowing with record numbers. For missing all of this. I thought about all the times I'd wanted his approval, his support, his belief in me. Somewhere along the way I'd stopped needing it. You know what the funny thing is, Dad? If you had given me that $300,000 3 years ago, Chen Medical Technologies might not exist. I had to do it my way, prove to myself that I could. He nodded slowly. Your way seems to have worked out pretty well. In the months that followed, things changed in ways I hadn't expected. Rebecca, humbled by the experience, went back to business school, legitimately this time. Mom stopped comparing us and started actually listening when I talked about my work. Dad had to adjust to having a daughter more successful than he was. The diagnostic tool revolutionized cancer screening worldwide, just as I'd planned. We opened clinics in remote areas, developed new applications for the technology, saved countless lives. 1 year later, at another family dinner, Rebecca cleared her throat. I have an announcement, she said, and I tensed automatically. But instead of stealing someone else's idea, she turned to me. Sarah, I was wondering if you'd consider letting me intern at Chen Medical Technologies. In the legal department, specifically intellectual property law. I've learned a lot about that recently. I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and saw something new in her eyes. Understanding, respect, maybe even a little wisdom. Submit your application like everyone else, I said. But Rebecca, if you get the position, you'll have to work twice as hard to prove yourself. She nodded. I know. I'm ready to earn something for real this time. As I drove home that night to my penthouse apartment, I thought about legacy, family, and success. Rebecca had spent her life taking shortcuts, stealing glory, rushing to be first. I had spent mine building something real, something that would last. The next morning, I found an old box in my closet. Inside was my broken science fair project from all those years ago. A simple water filtration system that might have won if it hadn't been accidentally knocked over. Next to it was my college application essay, the one Rebecca had copied. I took them to my office and put them in a display case alongside my first patent, my company's IPO documents, and a newspaper clipping about the diagnostic tool saving its first life. Sometimes the best revenge isn't exposing someone's lies. It's building something so true, so meaningful that their lies become irrelevant. And sometimes, just sometimes, those lies lead to growth. Not just for the liar but for everyone who protected them. My family would never be the same after my revelation, but maybe that was the point. Some foundations need to crack before they can be rebuilt stronger. As for me, I keep my original notebook in my desk drawer, the one with the first sketches of the diagnostic tool. Not as a reminder of Rebecca's betrayal, but as proof that some dreams are too big to steal. They have to be earned, one quiet moment at a time, while everyone else is busy taking credit for things they don't understand.